Hello and welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and we've got a little bit more news to talk about. Some of it gaming related, some of it YouTube related, and in the meantime, I'm going to try an idea that was presented on my Discord, but I kind of modified it a little bit, and I want to see how well it works. First things first. That is classic soundtrack we just rolled. And done. So what we have is another attempt to try to understand the Tearing Whirlwind spell. Because very famously, I keep saying that I don't like it very much because of the position it leaves you in. But I'm going to give it another go, and we're going to do so with the aid of the mighty powerful Terra Ring. I think that sounds like a good thing to try, and we're going to make the most of it. We're still going to take the Rule Robe. Now, what are we going to do for our basic and our dash? Well, for dash, I think we take Airburst. And for basic... I like Air Spinner for this one, but what else could I do? Radiant Blast is that. Aqua Arc. Let's see. I want to do something that has kind of a mid-range to it. I also don't want to focus too hard on wind and give myself too much of a glaring weakness. So I think what we do... Let's see, Bladed Vine, maybe? I don't want to do the Fist. That's a little too slow for my taste. Maybe Ice Dagger. Yeah, I think that works. There's a lot of movement that's going to be going on in this one, so Soccer Cleats wouldn't exactly be a bad option either. But, alright, let's get into finding the retro floor plan. Now, to be fair, a slightly stronger choice for a build like this that's all about constant movement would probably be Chaotic Echoes, but you guys know that I tend to keep away from some of the Chaos Arcana. Not all of them, but I tend to keep away from the Chaos Arcana dashes because, let's be fair, of all the Dash Arcana, they are clearly the strongest. Either because of overpowered effects or because of consistent effects that don't require any sort of cooldown to make use of. And yes, I will be talking about that when I finally get to doing my Dash Arcana tier list video, which I am probably going to be working on some more after I take care of probably this recording. Like, I'm aware that that's been on my docket for a while, and I just haven't really done anything with it, just because I've been busy kind of, putting troubles back together. So, apologies for that. Let's see. Probably be best to start at the Sky Palace. And then we'll just deal with Atlas if he shows up later, but let's hope he doesn't. Come on. You can do it. Come on, Malind. There we go. Oh, hey, he didn't. Very nice. Alright, so now what we should focus on is finding things that'll be a little bit more... finding things that'll be a little bit more effective against Zeal will probably be what we want to do. I also like the idea of the Curse Eater's Watch. Like, even with just one Cursed Relic, that's still pretty good. Yeah, so obviously the idea here is to make heavy use of quick movement and gathering enemies up for a nice Terror Ring 1-2 punch. And I think that sounds mighty fantastic. So I did mention that I had some news involving what else? The recent drama that's been going on. Now, some of you might be going, geez, why are you still harping on about that? Mostly because I think it's important to not let the people involved in this one off the hook. And outside of a particular wolf just continuing to assert that she's done nothing wrong, which, bullshit, you've done nothing wrong. She also, apparently not being a very smart person, though is definitely the case here. She apparently was cognizant enough of thought, or had someone else directing her as to what to do to try to save face, to go out of her way to delete a 9-year-old video of her on Omegle, apparently propositioning 2 teenage boys for, well, I mean, let's just say it as it is, for showing off her assets. I shouldn't have to tell you why that's creepy and awful. And if I do, maybe you're part of the problem. No, there is no world in which that's a good idea, and I can't even begin to explain why anyone would do that. Now, as I pointed out, this video is 9 years old. Which means that at the time, that would have put her around the age of, I think, 21, 22, roughly in that area. The kids that she was talking to were like 13, 14 years old, so even if we time date that back to her age at the time, no, that's still wrong. Wow, this room is just single-handedly ruining me. No matter how I look at it, I find that incredibly creepy and just plain wrong. I am gonna take that. Alright, we are definitely going to have to learn when to and when not to use Tearing Whirlwind. Interesting, but no, I want to keep my basic. So, this is not the mark of someone who's, like, trying to remain modest. This is the mark of someone who knows that optics around their livelihood are not looking good right now, and is trying to save face however possible. And in my opinion, I would say don't let her do that. She's already buried herself in controversy, and she's already losing sponsors, and quite frankly, someone who with that disgusting of a personality needs to continue being called out for it. I mean, she was already a nasty piece of work going out of her way to not credit the people whose videos she was using for her own gain. But now this? It's like, no, bitch. No. You need to be called out. But the unfortunate fact of the matter is, she's probably not going to see any real consequences of her actions, because, let's be real, she's making YouTube a lot of money, and she's very conventionally attractive. Now, it's just my opinion that it doesn't matter how attractive you are if you've got an ugly personality. But a lot of people don't really care about that all that much, as sad as that is. So, I would say, I hope she gets punished, I hope she gets what she deserves. Not expecting that'll happen, though. But I'm hoping to be proven wrong on that. I would love to be proven wrong on that. And even though I feel like I'm kind of beating a dead horse by saying this, allow me to reiterate the idea that I'm not hanging on this because I just love hanging on YouTube drama. Like, the last time I really dug my heels in on some YouTube drama was the whole Pro Jared thing, and it feels like it was a long time ago now, and since then I've just decided that it's just not really my thing to hang on to those sorts of dealings. Okay, we definitely want that. I like the idea of the spice rack, but I want to see what else is available. And how much money I can get on this floor before I just... Well, I also can't afford it anyway. Well, there's Tearing Whirlwind. We definitely want that. And we can just take it now that we've got this freebie here that we can give to... Oh no, I don't even have to worry about that because I've got the Token of Health. Never mind. Yeah, I'm not for, hanging on to and reporting all the YouTube drama that's out there. Owie. I feel that this is worth reporting on because this situation could have huge ramifications for YouTube as a platform, And frankly, as a side hustle for myself and a lot of up-and-coming creators, people whose works I feel would definitely provide more than just bottom of the barrel reaction content. Again, I apologize for the nose sniffles. I'm just making sure that I can breathe clearly. But I am aware that it is audible over my mic, so I apologize for that. I know it's annoying, but I am doing my best to stay in good health. So that is the whole SS Sniper Wolf situation. And by the way, if you're wondering where that comes from, it's not a random thing. She actually had a YouTube channel before her current one, which I believe was called Super Sexy Sniper, which, again, a little narcissistic. Are we even surprised coming from her at this point? So that's where the SS in her name comes from, not necessarily Secret Service. It's just, you know, her usual form of self-aggrandizement. But because I strongly doubt that Miss Wolf could understand words that have more than 4 syllables, it's, you know, the thing that she does to make herself feel better about herself. And we'll just start putting together the Midas set, why not? Do I want to have a faster activation speed? Like, what would that do for the ice daggers that already have a really fast activation speed? And I'm still gathering up relics, so, I mean, there's a good chance I'll come back to it. But I want to check in with Iris first and see if she's willing to sell me anything interesting. I'm thinking something water-based. Well, no, not water-based. I already have good electric base. I mean, honestly, I'm tempted to buy Tracer Barrage. Not only will that work well with Spice Rack, but it's just a powerful arcana in and of itself. Okay, can I please find a direction that actually leads to something? That would be nice. Okay, what are you? I do like having a good defensive option, I won't lie. But, do I want that over Tracer Barrage? And the answer is, not really. Oh, hello. Do you have anything I want? Yes, yes you do. But not all of the news that I have today is necessarily all about Sniper Wolf and her, self-destruction of her career. Some of the news I have is a bit more lighthearted if you can take what's happening with the video game industry as anything lighthearted. Oh, I am a genius. And that is that we may have found the new worst game of the year. For a while, it was sitting pretty steady on... I mean, well, some people would say Redfall. I would say Lord of the Rings Gollum overtakes that by a good country mile. But just recently, a game released called Skull Island: Legacy of Kong. Oh my god, the screenshots that I've seen of that game and some of the cutscenes are some of the most embarrassing trite I've seen in a long time. And don't get me wrong, it doesn't redeem Lord of the Rings Gollum at all. It just makes you stop and put it in perspective like, my god, that's awful. Sharkhead. Alright, well I'm getting 8% better cooldown and 10% greater signature charge rate, so... that lowers my signature charge rate by 20%, but I do think we've got something going on here. Alright. Is there anything else I want to purchase? Oh yeah, I want to purchase this. Okay, so it is about the same amount of movement. It just happens a little bit faster. Like, I'm willing to say that the movement seems... Alright, let's actually perform an experiment. I'm gonna drop the gloves here. And starting from this brick... Oops. Alright, so starting from this brick and going this direction, we get to the edge of, let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th brick. Now let's pick it back up. Oh, come on. Okay, you actually do get less distance with the Evening Glove and the Ice Dagger. I thought that was just me, but it is actually less distance. One more time. Yeah, I'm not making it this far with the Evening Gloves on. So I think this is one of those times where you don't want the Evening Glove, because the whole point of Ice Daggers is to zip around and throw enemies off with your quick movements and your rapid stabbing. But with the Evening Gloves, you stab faster but move less. I value the movement myself. Ow. I've been fireballed. Water Pulse Agent? Not bad, but we're going into a water area, so I don't think so. Now, I'm not usually the person who likes to talk about, you know, graphics in a game. I mean, obviously, look at the game that we're playing. But the Legacy of Kong graphics, they don't look like they've at all advanced past the PS2 era. And this is coming from someone who is not a graphics hound. I don't play games for the graphics. It just so happens that a lot of the games that I like have really good graphics. But oh my god, this game looks like such trash. And the only reason why I bring that up is to give you an idea of what exactly it is you're working with. And those of you who know where I'm going with this will understand when I say that it does look worse than a PS2 game. Namely, it looks worse than a game within its own IP. Because back in 2005, there was a game released to coincide with the King Kong movie release. It was called Peter Jackson's King Kong, the official game of the movie. Yep. Rolls right off the tongue, doesn't it? And I bring that up, of course, to make the comparison that they had a game that looked and felt better to play in 2005 than we do in 2023, and that is just a shame. Okay, I kind of had that one coming. So when we're talking about how game-making tech has changed, let's keep in mind that none of that matters if you don't know how to make a good game. If the technology is harder to use and the people using it are worse educated than the people who were around in 2005 making games, then what does that matter? Take that. I'll grab that on the off chance that I can get the Magician's Wand, but I'm not holding out a ton of hope for it. And we'll upgrade that just because we can. And then I'll shoot myself in the foot because I actually want that. Okay, you've got to go. knock me out of my tearing whirlwind. Hell's wrong with you? Yeah, I don't want that gauntlet. I might want something from here, though. And no, there is unfortunately no glove. Or not glove, but wand. I know what I'm talking about, shut up. No, you're wrong. So let's go ahead and drop that, put back on the shark head, and we'll take that. Which will have an increase on both the Anchor of Burden and you, and now we're only at a 5% reduction in signature charge rate. Quite a bit of lost movement speed, but why does that matter when you're zipping around with dashes and tearing whirlwinds anyway? Okay, things that fire projectiles are just getting on my last nerve right now. Yes, I'd say this run is working out particularly well. Selling anything interesting? Kind of, not really. Like, I guess. Like, there's almost really no point to this, but let's get rid of that and pick up the Nerite Shell. Yes, that's what I like to call domination. I think we can all agree with that. The spice rack providing exactly what I need. And now we're ready to move on, boop. Oh, I was ready to launch a Tracer Barrage, but I guess I didn't need it. Where was I? Oh yeah, I got super sidetracked in my brain. I was talking about Skull Island, Legacy of Kong, and how embarrassing that game is. Like, seriously, if you just go watch the trailer of the game, like, you can immediately see just how bad the game looks. But I mean, that's not all there is to it. What makes an awful game isn't all about how it looks. Because, trust me, it plays just as bad as it looks like it does. Like, with the gameplay sections being repetitive, with Kong's moves being Just basic cookie cutter 1, 2, 3 attacks. Like, it just looks like there's nothing to it. And the funny part is the development team responsible for making the game, they pretty much specialize in shovelware garbage, so why they were allowed to take a IP that has a lot of potential for games and make something so bleh with it is beyond me. Why? No, Iris, why? Are you assuming that I'm going to buy a second copy of Bouncing Surge just for the random lol humor factor? Come on, lady. Beautiful. That was not smart. Wow, I aimed so terribly with that. Make no mistake, it wasn't just me being awful. I got severely up-buttoned there. And that's a beautiful victory for me. So that's about all I've got, and talking about that news is the reason why I didn't do a class build video, but don't worry, one of those is coming up. I'm also going to start working on my Dash Arcana tier list very shortly here. So I've got things coming out of the pipeline that I'm really interested in, and I hope you guys are really interested in them as well. So say one last goodbye to Sharky. Bye, Sharky! And just trust that he's not going to show up at your door and try to bite you in half like sharks do. And with that, I will say thank you very much for coming to join me for another episode of Wizard of Legend. I really do appreciate you guys coming in and spending some of your free time here with me today. I hope you have a fantastic day or night wherever you may happen to be, and I will catch you in the next one. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and seriously, go check out some gameplay footage of Skull Island Legacy of Kong. It's hard to imagine anything being more embarrassing than Lord of the Rings Gollum, but my god, they did it. Later.